English tenses. Present simple is the first tense we're going to deal with in this English course level 1A1. The most important words of this English tense are doesn't and does. Uses of present simple. We don't say uses, we say uses. Uses of present simple. We use the present simple when we speak in general, for habits or repeated action, for permanent situations, and with adverbs of frequency like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. Let's continue. Positive or affirmative sentences with verb speak in present simple with subject plus verb plus s. So he speaks, she speaks, it speaks. In today's lesson we are not going to use it because it's just for animals. So because animals and objects, they don't speak, so we are going to use mainly he and she in the examples. Let's continue. So this is the rule. He speaks. If you write he speak, it's not correct. Henry speak is not correct. So you need to write Henry speaks. She speaks. Isabel speaks. The parrot speaks. It speaks. So I use the parrot just in this slide or another slide, so 2 slides, and we are going to use just he and she and the names of men and women. So remember, in present simple, the verb with he, she, and it take an s. So the verb takes an s with he, she, and it, or a singular noun. Let's see more examples. The negative form in the present simple with he, she, it is with the word doesn't. Some students write don't. No, don't, it's not correct. So he doesn't speak. She doesn't speak. It doesn't speak. We notice that speak is with he, she, it, but it doesn't take s. Why? Because we have doesn't. So when we have doesn't, the verb doesn't take s with he, she, it. Because the student, they say, oh, the verb with he, she, it takes s. Why it doesn't take s here? Because there is the word doesn't. So when we have the word doesn't, the negative form, the verb remain in the infinitive form without any s. Let's see some examples. He doesn't speak. If you write he doesn't speak, it's not correct. Henry doesn't speak, it's not correct. Henry doesn't speak. She doesn't speak. Isabel doesn't speak. The parrot doesn't speak. It doesn't speak. Let's continue. Let's go to the question form. In the question form, with he, she, it, we ask with the word does. Does he speak? If you write does he speaks, it's not correct. So in the negative form and in the question form, the verb doesn't take an s. So does he speak? Does she speak? Does it speak? So the verb takes an s only in the positive form. You should remember this. Let's go to real examples. This is just the rule. Does he speak? Does Rafa speak? Does she speak? Does Sonia speak? Does Rodrigo speak? Let's continue. Pay attention to the examples. The affirmative form, positive form. He speaks English. Hassane speaks Arabic. She speaks French. Lydia speaks German. David speaks Italian. He speaks Chinese. Carmen speaks just one language. She speaks two languages. You see, when we have S, he or Hassane or Lydia or she or David or Carmen, so we always put an S to the verb. So try to remember remember to put an S at the end of the verb in present simple with he, she, it, or a singular noun. Let's practice this to know it more. Let's go to the next slide. The negative form. Chris. So this word we don't pronounce it Chris. So in some words ch is pronounced k. So this word is Chris. Chris. Chris doesn't speak English. Chris doesn't speak English. He doesn't speak Arabic. Mary doesn't speak French. She doesn't speak German. Antonio doesn't speak Italian. He doesn't speak Chinese. Fuzia doesn't speak one language. She speaks two languages. She doesn't speak two languages. She speaks three languages. So you see, doesn't speak. So we don't have S with the verb when we have the word doesn't. Let's practice them. Let's go to the question form. Does Chris speak English? Does he speak Arabic? Does Mary speak French? Does she speak German? Does Antonio speak Italian? Does he speak Chinese? Does Fuzia speak one language? Does she speak two languages? So the same, when in the negative form or in the question form, the verb doesn't take S with he, she, it. Remember this rule. Let's see more examples. Positive form. Adam speaks to himself. He speaks to people. She speaks to you. Olga speaks to her teacher. Claire speaks about money. Tim speaks to his manager. Let's repeat after me. Adam speaks to himself. He speaks to people. She speaks to you. Olga speaks to her teacher. Claire speaks about money. Tim speaks to his manager. So we see the verb is with S because it's positive form. Let's see the negative form and let's see if we have S or not.